Transformers 1, of course, released this weekend to some very interesting reviews. Now, of course, you could go the way of the movie reviewer, the critics, which, at this point, many people just don't really take their word for anything. But if you take the fans' reviews, over 91% like the movie on Google. For Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 97%. I mean, even the critics have an 88%. And for good reason, too. I heard a lot of... Well, first of all, it's been a couple weeks since other people made the reviews. So it kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, the movie's already out. I go check the Showtime. No, it's not even out. Whatever, right? But that doesn't change anything. But the people that did review it, they said, oh, this is one of the best movies that come out this year. And I thought, can't be that good, right? And, no, they're very much right. Especially because my friend went to go watch it, and his official opinion is a 9 out of 10. And to that, I say, he's right. But anyways, before we get into the review, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it. There is really very few people that will not enjoy this film. It looks great, visually. The plot is amazing. The fight scenes, of course, with them being Transformers, gives them a lot of unique ways of getting stuff done. I guess you could say set design, but it is technically animation is great as well. The dynamics between the Autobots or the robots are great too. Comedy is always a good thing, right? Especially when you have Michael Key as one of the main cast. But besides that, we will now be going into the now spoiler review, so last chance. But anyways, the main plot revolves around Orion Pax and D16. And to those wondering who these are of course Optimus Prime and Megatron before becoming that, obviously. And this is set in a timeline after the fall of the Primes. Now, of course, Primus is essentially their deity, as people would claim, that sacrificed themselves by essentially turning himself into a planet and making the Primes to protect the planet. And the Matrix of Leadership, when in possession of a worthy robot, I guess you could say, Energon, which is essentially their life force and oil, you could say, flows over. Basically, there's an abundance of it. As we see, Energon is used to basically revive an ancient Prime that survived the fight. But anyways, you may be saying, survive the fight? Who did they fight against? Well, they fight against the Quintessar, I think it's what's called. Yeah, Quintessons. Something like that, right? But these are these alien bug-like creatures, or also essentially also metallic like the robots here. But they're the enemies, and of course the Primes want to go stop them. Fortunately, they were mostly slain, and the Matrix of Leadership was thought to be, lost on the planet's surface. So now with Energon no longer freely flowing throughout the planet, people like D16 and Orion Pax are forced to essentially mine for it inside the core of the Earth. And of course, the main jokes you get is, oh, you can't transform? Oh, I could transform. I could transform my finger. Can you believe which one? Obviously, showing that they can't transform. Why? Because their cogs have been, they weren't born with that, or at least to their knowledge, right? And their essential leader is Sentinel Prime. And if you know Sentinel Prime from the Michael Bay films, or basically any other Transformers film, but I feel like most people watch the Michael Bay films, you would know Sentinel, there's a little bit more than meets the eye, you could say. But their main conflicts of the story is, of course, D16 and Orion Pax, as D16 likes to stay on protocol, doesn't really like to really push the boundaries of, society, while Orion Pax does, which causes quite a bit of trouble, But it also causes them to learn the truth. Now, of course, one of the ways they try to push the boundaries was trying to enter the Lacon 5000 race, which is essentially only for robots that can transform. Of course, they can't. They're nothing more than miners, who are essentially seen as, lesser because they can't transform. They joined it anyways, and then they're obviously seen by Sentinel Prime, like, oh, these guys are very nice. Someone send them to the upgraded hospital. Yeah, no, turns out it was a lie. They basically got sent to the trash heap. So, yeah. But that's where they see another one. That's right. B. You know, Bumblebee, obviously. We'll just call him Bumblebee. We're not going to call him B. Right. Where they accidentally stumble upon a hidden message from one of the fallen primes, basically saying, hey, we're losing. You're going to send some backup for us. So they go on a quest to go find it, only to realize that the reason why the primes fell from the Quintessons was the fact that Sentinel betrayed them. Of course, Sentinel betrayed them. Of course, it happened in the Michael Bay films. I hate him. He killed goddamn Ironhide. I don't know why the hell that happened. I might have been the closest thing a grown man was to crying when he saw straight up Ironhide get killed. Like, bruh, like, no offense, I like the other guys, but come on, Ratchet was right there. He could have killed him, right? But they essentially say, oh, Sentinel Prime basically sold out the planet, killed the primes, but of course, as the matrix of leadership can only be wielded by a worthy robot, it basically just disappears. It just becomes one with the planet, right? Because the planet is Primus, where they say, oh, Primus is the one who basically makes sure the person who wields the matrix is worthy. So they find out Sentinel is evil, and now they have to take him down. Now, of course, to them, to their knowledge, they're mining Energon because they're running out, obviously, because it's no longer flowing in abundance. Nope, Sentinel Prime just giving it to the evil Quintessons. So yeah, basically, they're basically just being used, and they were betrayed. And of course, D16 just straight up crashes out. He just is like, what? I was staying on protocol for this. And also, that's the thing that gets them. The protocol thing, because if Orion Pax never broke protocol, they would never have learned the truth, and they would have lived in blissful ignorance. But now he knows the truth, and now he wants Sentinel dead. And then they win. Sentinel, unfortunately, does get killed by D16, much to the dismay of Orion Pax, and that basically causes a tear, causing Optimus Prime and Megatron. Now, of course, we also do get a reason why he called himself Megatron. That's because his favorite Prime is a Megatronus, aka, as many people would believe, the strongest Prime. And of course, his, I guess, helmet is the shape of the Decepticon logo, which he uses as a sticker. You know, I guess you could say foreshadowing, but I mean, everyone knows that, right? And then what's cool is Sentinel straight up brands Megatron with the Decepticon logo. I was like, damn, that sucks, right? And of course, they saved the day, and now Megatron and the Decepticons are banished from the city. Now, of course, the Decepticons, we get Starscream, Soundwave, and another guy. I forgot the other guy. I'm sorry, Soundwave is cool. The other guy is kind of a little bit iffy, right? But, see, it doesn't even have it in cast. It's just Soundwave. Oh, but besides that, that's the essential plot. Basically, they undercover deep government cover-ups and take down the man responsible, restoring balance to the once lost planet. Of course, Optimus Prime gets the leader or matrix of leadership, therefore making Energon once again abundant on the planet. And he basically gets upgraded, but whatever. But anyways, pros and cons. Pros, I like the character design. I like Arachnid, which is basically the right-hand woman of Sentinel Prime. Ooh, she has a bunch of eyes, which first of all, whenever she uses them, is very cool. And she's basically like, well, as her name says, a spider. She likes using her arms to do very much multi-attacks. I also like Starscream's design. Now, of course, he's the guy that's like, oh, he was part of the Royal Guard, essentially. Kind of like the elite task force that wasn't Primes. They found out that Sentinel betrayed them. They went into hiding and basically just attack every once in a while, you know, just causing mayhem. And of course, he goes with the whole thing. Oh, I'm the strongest guy here. Oh, he gets one-shotted by Megatron. Now, of course, he doesn't actually get one-shotted, but he gets his voice box basically taken out. Not taken out, but it's messed up. Also, I like how Megatron slowly goes insane, basically, because he's been lied to. But another thing is, I like Alpha Trion. I think he's a Prime as well, even though, and that dude is like one of the coolest designs. I don't know if I could find a picture of him from the movie, but that dude looks cool as hell. He looks like a tank, and I like that. He looks like a tank. I like his voice. I like the way he gives them a pep talk. And of course, he kind of the whole reason how they even become a thing, right? One of the things, also like the music, the score, it really benefits the story. The plot as well is also great. Like I said, the fight scenes, you know how I did say that because they're Transformers, it really, and also animation, it really gives them really new ways of, fight styles. Because there's one scene where Megatron's fighting some dude, so he has an arm cannon. Obviously, we all know that thing's huge. He just extends it and hits him in his face. Of course, they turn the cars, spin around, hit the feet under them. The basic stuff, but it still looks super cool. Might I add, the final battle scene when they recruit the miners and the Royal Guard to fight. Oh my god, that's so cool. I don't know. I got goosebumps, I guess you could say. I think it's cool as hell. The cons now, they're very little cons. One of the cons is just Michael Key kind of talks a little too much. It's like I think they needed to give him a little bit more serious tone. I get it's Bumblebee. We all know he's like goofy and all that stuff. But I think I think it was a little too goofy. I think they needed to bring him a little bit back down to Cybertron, But once again, it's very little. It doesn't really get to you unless you really hate that. But for the most part, you're good. And the second thing is I never really liked those type of Transformers design. I just don't like how Optimus Prime has a chiseled jawline. It's just weird. I know I always find that weird. And even with their final transformations, it looks a little peculiar. Just a little bit. A little too humanoid for my liking. Because I grew up with the Michael Bay films. A lot of people probably grew up with these designs. So when I saw them, I was like, well, like I said, it's just nitpicks at this point. Nothing really too serious. It's one of those movies, like I said a bunch of other times. The only way I see people not liking this movie is just if they just don't like it. They just don't like the type of movie, that it is, I guess you could say. They just don't like it. Not their cup of tea. Yeah, of course, if you're in a giant robots CGI battles, I guess you could say, you're gonna love this movie. Of course, it's not like those other things because there's been this whole debate about but it's for children, right? You shouldn't be criticizing it too much. Other people are like, yeah, but children shouldn't be watching slop. This is not slop. My friend rated 9 out of 10. The people rated it like 9.98. I would rate it a 9 out of 10. Now, of course, I am behind on my movies. By the way, I decided to cut the things in half. It'll be 6 or 12 movies in one part, and then the next part and the next part, depending on how long it takes, right? But even though I am behind on movies, this might still be the best movie I've seen so far. Now, of course, the first one was The Beekeeper, which was the first movie I watched. Then it took a long time until Bad Boys Ride or Die came out, and now it's Transformers 1. It's a great movie. Nothing much to it. Obviously, I can't tell you to watch it now because I already done spoiled the movie, but if you still somehow stuck around, even though I told you to go watch it, go watch it. It's so good. Is it better than Transformers 1 in terms of that atmosphere? Probably not for me, but it's leagues better than what the hell the Michael Bay film been producing recently, right? Or at least since the last one. It's way better. Leagues better than the recent Transformers projects. No offense to the people working on them, obviously, but it's just some people just wanted it better, and this is way better. So, one last, I guess, thing to say is, I am ready for the next film. My friend said the sequel's about to go crazy. It's gonna go crazy, unless, of course, they become blind to their, I don't know, whatever, right? But basically, it's very unlikely that the sequel is really trash compared to this one. Even if it's only 1 down, it would be 8 out of 10. That's more than enough. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Watch out for the gaming reviews and the movie reviews lumped together. And by the way, thank you for 2,000 views on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum video. I didn't expect it to get that much. I expected it to get a bit, but not that much. So once again, thank you guys. And when I said don't get confused about the movie reviews coming out, this is what I meant. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.